This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening. I'm Kate Snow in for Lester tonight. It happened on one of the coldest nights of the year here in New York City. Fire ripping through an apartment building in the Bronx, killing at least a dozen people, from a 1-year-old girl to a 63-year-old woman. 4 of the victims from one single family. And today we learned just how it happened and how it spread so quickly. A young child playing with a stove sparked the flames in one apartment, and with the door left open, the blaze had plenty of oxygen to keep it going. It is the deadliest structure fire in the U.S. since the blaze in a converted Oakland warehouse last December. And tonight, so many families are in mourning. We begin with Ann Thompson.
It was in every sense horrific.
Almost burned. Even little kids in the stretchers burned. It's crazy.
This scene sparked, officials say, by a 3-year-old boy playing with the stove's burners in a first-floor apartment.
Fire in multiple dwellings.
When the fire took hold, his mother grabbed him and another child and ran without closing the door.
The stairway acted like a chimney. It took the fire so quickly upstairs that people had very little time to react.
Firefighters were there in 3 minutes to battle the flames and sub-zero wind chills.
It's sad.
Joel Rodriguez lived on the first floor and barely escaped.
Janked the AC out of the window, threw on the sofa, had my wife get out.
We got reported people on the fire escape apartment 15.
Several people were rescued, but the fire moved too fast to save everyone. Maria Batiz died in the blaze after making a terrifying call to her family.
And what did she say?
She's gonna die there. She's not gonna make it.
Maria's baby granddaughter also perished.
She was a loving person. She loved the baby.
And tonight, a first look inside the charred remains of the apartment building, once filled with life, including 4 members of one family now gone. A tragedy that officials say didn't have to take so many lives. Fire officials say if you live in an apartment and there is a fire, when you leave, be sure to close the door. If you don't, what happened here last night could happen again. Kate?
Ann Thompson, thank you. Much of the country suffered through another day of bitter cold today, and the dangerous deep freeze will persist right into next week. It caused wrecks and spinouts in the Midwest. Freighters got stuck in this river in Michigan, and there is more snow in the forecast tonight for Erie, Pennsylvania, on top of the 5 feet they already have. Parts of Niagara Falls frozen in place today, giving the landmark a surreal look that still drew tourists. President Trump is in sunny Florida, but he weighed in on the frigid weather expected on New Year's Eve. In a tweet, he said, perhaps we could use a little bit of that good old global warming. The comment drew criticism from climate scientists, and the president had a lot to say about other issues, including China, North Korea, and the Russia investigation. Chief White House correspondent Hallie Jackson has more on all that.
Teeing up the end of 2017.
It's an honor to have you at the course.
The president hosting the Coast Guard at his golf club near Mar-a-Lago. It's where a day earlier, for the first time, he explicitly acknowledged he's been soft on China on trade in that impromptu interview with the New York Times. His administration hoping Beijing will pressure North Korea to end its nuclear weapons program. Now, new concerns China's actually helping the rogue regime and violating UN sanctions. These U.S. Treasury satellite images show what South Korea suspects is a Chinese ship transferring oil to a North Korean ship in international waters. The Chinese today strongly denying the government was involved. Hours after this accusation from the president, quote, oil is going into North Korea, so I'm not happy about it. The 30-minute interview shattered what had been the relative quiet of the president's working holiday as he decried the Russia investigation, but not the man overseeing it, Robert Mueller. I think that he's going to be fair, the president said. That's different from the questions of credibility some other Republicans have raised. Chris Ruddy, the president's friend, joined him for part of that interview.
Have you seen in the last week, couple of weeks, a change in tone when it comes to the special counsel Russia investigation?
I think he's always had a lot of respect for Mueller as an individual.
He not once, not twice, but 16 times insisted there was no collusion between his campaign and Russia and doesn't want the investigation to drag on. The quicker it ends, he says, the better it is for the country.
And the president appears to be feeling characteristically confident about his grasp of policy, saying he understands the big bills in Congress better than any president who's ever been in office and knows the details of taxes better than the greatest CPA. Kate?
Hallie Jackson, thank you. A disturbing story tonight from Wichita, Kansas. Police there shot and killed a man whose death is now being tied to something known as swatting. It's a dangerous and now deadly prank where false information is called into police to try and provoke a response from a SWAT team, even though there's no actual emergency. Ron Mott has more.
28-year-old Andrew Finch, a father of two, was shot and killed by Wichita police Thursday night. Police were led to his house by a call. When a 911 dispatcher followed up, this is what the caller said.
They were arguing and I shot him in the head and he's not breathing anymore.
This incident is now believed to have been part of a prank known as swatting, originating from a disagreement online over the video game Call of Duty. But the victim is thought to have no connection to the gamers.
I keep thinking this is a dream. I'm going to wake up and he's going to be here. But the cops can't just go around shooting people without any consequences.
Today, Wichita's deputy police chief responded to the controversy and the officer's actions.
Due to the actions of a prankster, we have an innocent victim. If the false police call had not been made, we would not have been there.
Swatting has targeted celebrities in the past. Among those who have faced unexpected police encounters at home, Miley Cyrus, Justin Timberlake, Ashton Kutcher, and Justin Bieber. The FBI estimates 400 cases of swatting occur annually nationwide, according to the Associated Press, but they are rarely deadly, as was the case in Kansas. Ron Mott, NBC News, Chicago.
Life expectancy in this country is on the decline. The reason? The nation's heroin epidemic. New government figures just out show that last year, more than 63,000 people died of a drug overdose. But scattered across the country, there are also reasons to be hopeful. Tonight, as part of our continuing series, One Nation Overdosed, I want to introduce you to a powerful woman who's found a solution.
Just outside Dayton, Ohio.
Hello, this is Lori.
Lori Arian is saving lives.
I just wanted to call and check on him and check on you.
An unpaid volunteer, she spends up to 10 hours a day helping people find treatment. Lori is a recovering alcoholic herself and the mother of April.
You're such a good boy.
A recovering addict who used heroin in Lori's own home.
She's walked into the bathroom and there have been, sprays of blood on the floor from where I was trying to hit a vein and couldn't.
April stole from her mom to buy drugs, but instead of pushing April away, Lori started listening and learning.
I started FOA because I wanted the other families to get the same type of education I was getting at home from April.
FOA, Families of Addicts, started with a meeting in November 2013.
There's 6 people in a pack of Twizzlers.
6 people in a pack of Twizzlers?
Yeah. And I picked Twizzlers because our lives are so twisted. I will be up here at the end of the meeting.
Now about 100 people come to the weekly Dayton meeting.
I feel like she's like everybody's second mom.
Diane Humphreys-Wax says Lori saved her family.
She kept encouraging my daughter to try different avenues.
Families of Addicts has 5 sites in Ohio now.
Check this out. Ohio, Kansas, New Jersey, Montana.
People around the country want to replicate what Lori's done.
Anyone else who has progress that they would like recognized today, please raise your hand.
Lori doesn't shame people who relapse. She celebrates even the smallest milestones.
I'm going to take this for my son because he went to inpatient rehab. It's remarkable what it's done for him, inpatient. So this is for my son.
What's the special ingredient in what you're doing?
The basis for FOA is that we're real people. A lot of people in recovery that come and go, they know if they come up, they're going to get a hug. They know that I love them. They know that I'll love them no matter where they're at.
Because to Lori Arian, everyone caught up in the opioid crisis deserves to be saved.
Lori still has a day job. As a graphic designer, she hopes to find a way to make the program even bigger. And by the way, you can catch an extended report on the opioid crisis in Dayton, Ohio on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Just go to the NBC News app. Still ahead tonight, the young man who discovered something strange going on with his iPhone and how that led to a big admission from Apple. Also, how a police chase ended with no more road and no more pier. Did they finally get their man? Thousands of iPhone owners may want to hold on to their aging devices a bit longer now that Apple has admitted it slowed down the phones and then apologized for it. It turns out it was a teenager who brought widespread attention to the issue and how it could be fixed. Joe Fryer has the details.
Frequency.
Just 17 years old, Tyler Barney noticed his iPhone 6S slowed down with a software update, but sped up again with a new battery. His discovery, posted to the website Reddit, went viral, sparking criticism aimed at Apple.
Most people think, my phone is slow, I need to go buy a new phone. But the problem doesn't lie necessarily with the phone, it's just with the battery in the phone.
Now Apple is apologizing for not being clear it does slow down phones with aging batteries to keep them from shutting down unexpectedly.
I think it's on them to do a much better job of helping people understand what goes on with these very expensive products as they get older.
Several class action lawsuits filed in recent days by iPhone users claim Apple should have disclosed the slowdown sooner.
I think that it's a well thought out plan by Apple to make sure that consumers come back and buy the latest and greatest phone.
Apple denies this, saying we have never and would never do anything to intentionally shorten the life of any Apple product or degrade the user experience to drive customer upgrades. Starting in late January, the company will offer replacement batteries for $29 on iPhone 6 or later. That's a $50 discount and much cheaper than buying a new phone for up to $1,000. Joe Fryer, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And up next, we'll talk big money, the huge lottery jackpots up for grabs this weekend. Are you feeling lucky tonight? Then you might already know about two huge lottery drawings. The first one is tonight. The Mega Millions top prize is $306 million. Then tomorrow night, the Powerball prize is at $384 million. The odds of winning both prizes, don't even ask. And a suspect in Oregon was trying to beat the odds that he would be captured by police. They were investigating reports of a trespasser on the waterfront in Astoria. When the man took off in his pickup truck, he ended up speeding down that pier until, as you saw, there was nowhere else to go except right into the Columbia River. He was picked up by a boat and arrested. And that is Nightly News for this Friday night. I'll be back with you tomorrow when we take a look at the start of the flu season. The CDC saying more than 36 states have widespread outbreaks. I'm Kate Snow in for Lester tonight. For all of us at NBC News, thanks for watching and have a great night.